This is a torque wrench by the brand Pro Bike Tool. I highly recommend it. Great value, great price. It has a 1/4-inch drive, 3-inch extension bar, hex key or aka Allen key bits, and Torx key bits. A Newton meter range of 2 to 20 . Hi, my name is Frankie from Bosque Mobile Bicycle Repair, located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Today I'm going to be showing you on how to do a safety check on your bicycle. I'm also showing you how to do a safety check if you don't have a bicycle repair stand. We'll do this at home. Right here we have a road bicycle. It is a carbon fiber frame. It has a carbon fiber seat post and a carbon fiber fork. First thing I like to do when I'm checking a bicycle is if the stem, your threadless stem, this has a threadless stem, is if the threadless stem is too loose. And how you do this is put the front wheel between your legs and you turn the handlebars. If the handlebars turn and your wheel is still straight between your legs, then you need to tighten your threadless headset. This is extremely important, that your headset is tightened, because if it's not, you could be riding and all of a sudden your wheel's going this way and your handlebars are going this way. You lose control. Who knows what you might run into, a tree, maybe a car, and oncoming traffic. So that is a very important thing you have to check on. Next thing I'm going to do is push down on the handlebars lightly, not strong, not with my whole body weight, but with a good amount of pressure. If the handlebars go downwards, then you need to tighten the clamp that clamps onto the handlebars. Push down on your handlebars. Make sure they don't go downwards. If they do, if it's loose, tighten it. I like to check the tightness of the bolts on the threadless stem and the handlebar clamp. Most of the time it uses a 5mm hex key. I have seen 4 and 6mm, depending on the make and model of your bicycle. This one takes a 5mm hex key. 5mm. I prefer to use an L shape over a T handle. This is a T handle hex key. This is an L shape hex key. I'm going to be using some strong, more torque. Take it, check my bolts. This is an aluminum handlebar, so I don't need a torque wrench. It is preferred to use a torque wrench. If it was carbon fiber, then you would have to use a torque wrench, because if you go over the torque limit, you can crack it. If you go under, then it's a safety issue. It's loose. Now this is a carbon fiber fork, but it has an aluminum steerer tube, so the clamp. But still, if there's a Newton meter rating or measurement, a torque specification on there, then use a torque wrench. If you have carbon, or maybe you have some aluminum parts, even still, if there's a torque rating on your stem, I recommend you use a torque wrench and set it to the proper torque setting and crank your bolts. You always check your stem bolts.
This is a picture of the Newton meter rating for the pinch bolts that hold the stem onto the steer tube.
Grab the top tube or your steer tube where the bearings meet the frame. Move your bicycle back and forth while hitting your front brakes. This allows you to feel for any play in the bearings or the headset. Do it on the top of the steer tube and the bottom of the steer tube. If you feel any play or movement, you need your headset adjusted. So I'm going to check the quick release. Make sure it has not loosened up. It will loosen up over time, a quick release. This one is a little loose. I'll tighten it by turning the nut on the other side opposite of the lever. It's opposite of the lever. Make sure that's firm in there. I'm going to look at the brake pads, inspect the brake pads to make sure they're not hitting the sidewall of the tire, because
check the quick release tab on your brakes. Make sure the tab is not open. The tab should be closed when riding. On some bicycles, there is a quick release tab on the brake levers. The quick release tab on your brakes is used to open out the brake arms so the wheel can be removed quickly.
Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my front wheel, shake side to side, spin it, look at the brake pads, make sure they're not rubbing on the bicycle tire. If they are rubbing on the bicycle tire, then the brakes need to be adjusted. Because eventually it will wear through the tire and it will explode, it'll pop while you're riding. That could cause some injury, even death. Make sure when you're shaking the wheel, you can even push down on it while you're lifting up on the handlebars. Make sure that the wheel is not loose or there's no play in the hub. Next, I'm going to check this has a skewer that is tightened to tighten the wheel onto the frame. This does not use a bolt-on wheel. This is a quick release wheel. So I'm going to try to open the quick release, make sure it's not easy to open, it's still tight. These do loosen up over time as you ride. This one's pretty tight. We don't have to worry about it. Next, I'm going to spin the rear wheel, check the brake pads, make sure they're not rubbing on the bicycle tire. Grab the wheels, move it side to side. Make sure to push it up and down. Make sure the wheel's tight and there's no play in the hub bearings. I'm going to open the skewer, make sure it's not too loose. If it's loose, tighten the nut opposite of the lever. Another thing you want to check is your brakes, your brake levers. If they come too close or they come into contact with your handlebars, your brakes need to be adjusted. This is an issue, safety issue. You want to make sure that your brake levers do not move more than halfway in order to stop your bicycle, or the brake pads come into contact with your rim. If you have to move your brake lever more than halfway in order to stop, that is an issue. That's a safety issue. So brakes are very important. You want to also check your brake caliper or brake mounting bolts. The bolts that help your brakes tighten onto the frame. You want to check that. So again, get a 5mm. This one takes a 5mm. Most of the time they take a 5mm. If it's an older bicycle like a bolt-on, it'll take usually a 10mm. Yeah, these bolts were loose. Another torque check I like to do, or check the bolts that they're tight, is my seat post and the seat clamp. So the bolt that clamps from the seat post onto your seat. This seats, I've seen a lot of loose seats working as a bicycle mechanic, so check the bolt that clamps onto your bicycle seat. Usually that's a 6mm. And your seat post clamp, most of the time it's like a 5mm, or it can be a quick release. Right now I'm going to check it. This is a carbon fiber frame. I do recommend that you use a torque wrench. And to check your seat post clamp, if there is a Newton meter rating or torque specification. This one was a little loose. A lot of times the bicycle lights are in the way, or the reflectors when you're trying to tighten your seat post clamp. Phillips screwdriver. Got my 6mm hex key. That was loose. This cyclist came to me. Eventually this seat would have been really loose, and you will eventually feel some pain in your groin and buttocks. Next I'd like to check the crank arms. I'll grab one crank arm, grab the other, move them side to side, make sure there's no play or the crank arms are not loose. And that is how you do a bicycle safety check on a road bike. Now there are just some different makes out there, different styles that will need a more different safety check. But for this type of bicycle that has quick release levers, calipers for brakes, and a threadless steer tube, that's how you do a safety check. Thank you for watching my video. My name is Frankie, owner of Bosque Mobile Bicycle Repair, located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you're in Albuquerque and need a tune-up, give me a call or book online.
Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos.